I have been using Translytical Task Flows, the Power BI Writeback, since day one. And to be honest, I wish I didn't. It's extremely limited in what it can do from standpoint of UX, UI, and interactions with the user. You constantly fight DAX context transition. You have to maintain 3 layers separately: Power BI, UDF, and your database, and all of that has to stay in sync. And while deploying, each and every time you have to remap your entities manually because it's not supported by deployment pipelines. However, Microsoft recently released Fabric Data Apps, and this could be the answer. Let's dive right in. Let's do a quick walkthrough on the app that I've built. So this is P&L commentary, typical use case for FP&A teams, right? You have your P&L items broken down: net sales, cost of goods sold, gross profit, etc. You have your actuals, you have your budget, you might have forecast, and you have your variances. And when those variances are material, meaning over certain threshold, business should provide commentary for those items. So let me highlight those material items, and let's add a comment here for product revenue lower than expected due to economy headwinds. And therefore, business goes through those material items, comments them, and they are stored in SQL database. Currently, most of the workloads I see for P&L teams are based on Excel. Usually, it's a lot of Excel files for each period. They are distributed via email, people comment on them, then some person merges all of that together, prepares shared file, and sends it to leadership. And it takes days and sometimes weeks, depending on the size of the business. And this process usually runs quarterly, sometimes monthly, and therefore people spend a lot of time preparing that information. Moreover, because it's stored in those Excel files, it's not really reusable. There is no central storage which you can use to analyze some historical data. You would have to go through that mostly manually. Now with Fabric Data Apps, all the comments that I submit here stored in SQL database. So let me show you. This database was provisioned automatically, unlike with Translytical Task Flows, where you would have to build schema manually. So let me navigate to tables. As you can see, this comment which I submitted in the app was directly written into SQL database. Building something like this in Power BI would likely take you a day, right? Because building P&L structure in Power BI is not easy and requires some effort with bridge tables, specialized measures, and so on and so forth. Add on top of that conditional formatting, add on top of that setting up Writeback, and you're looking at maybe a week of work, give or take, maybe less, to have something like this, which was built in 10 minutes. And all I had to do is to define inputs, define some base structure and guardrails, what I want to use, and I will show you what I recommend using. And the rest was done by an agent, by LLM. And I'm now in VS Code. I have Cloud Code running, and let's make the new app to see how easy it is to do. Now, I assume you have Rayfin installed already. If you do not, refer to Microsoft documentation. It's quite straightforward. In this case, I would like to focus on defining how the app should work and how it should look like. Let's do that. So let's build Rayfin app, new one. For UI, I would like to use pre-made UI component called ShadCN. There are many of those for different use cases. And instead of doing design from scratch, we'll ask LLM to use those. That will give us very polished UI look. For UI, use .cn components. And actually, I forgot to define what the app is. App is for FP&A. Comments Writeback for P&L items. In this case, I would like it to add dummy data, but of course, in real life, you will likely be connecting to your semantic model or lakehouse to get data about P&L items and variances. But in this case, I will use dummy data. Use dummy data for P&L items. All of the comments should be stored in Fabric SQL DB. This is another thing which has to be enabled by your admin as well as Fabric Data apps. They're not enabled by default, albeit I think Fabric SQL Database recently came out of the preview and might be already enabled by default. All of the comments should be user, of course, we want it trackable, and app should display metrics, right? Metrics breakdown for the parent and child items with variances, incantation formatting for positive, negative, and ability to highlight material items. Those are very high level requirements. So what I will do first, and actually I will go into plan mode instead of just starting to execute, and ask me any questions to clarify. Let's have it planning. A few minutes passed. It now asking me some questions. It detected that I have similar app already, but I will tell it to start it from scratch. Single comment per cell, lower threshold, keep it similar, easy, and let it be. And we can see it started building. What was an interesting discovery for me is that Rayfin does not directly work with Translytical Task Flows, or UDFs in specific. So all of those UDFs that you created for your Power BI reports to handle Writeback cannot be used, at least not natively, with Rayfin. You can use it through REST API, but this is already not native and requires way more work. So strangely, Microsoft, at least at this point, have not integrated two products together, and Power BI Writeback looks like a black sheep of the family. All right, and we have app deployed to Fabric Workspace. Let's take a look how the first draft turned out. The app has loaded. Actually, I think it mostly copied the app that I had already, which is fine. Requirements were pretty much the same, but let's try adding the comment. Test comment. Okay, it's added the comment. Let's check that it added it into the database. Great, it's in the database, it's working. So just in 10 minutes, I have working prototype for the Writeback app that writes directly to the SQL database. Something that would take much longer, be it in Power BI. Now, obviously, this is a very simple app, and once FP&A team starts to use it, there will for sure be additional requests. Let's add defaults, let's add row level security, let's add different versions of the forecasts, let's add conditional formatting, let's add notifications for people to submit comments, and so on and so forth. And as soon as those requests start to add up, It's much easier to iterate with the web app, and Fabric data apps are just web apps with backend in Microsoft Fabric than it is with Power BI. And when it comes to UX and user interactions, web apps are magnitudes more flexible than anything that Power BI can provide at this point. And that's all for today. Subscribe and see you in the next one.